Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Here to talk about a fascinating fight that's taking place in Europe this weekend in the middleweight division between Giovanni Lorenzo, a fighter who fought for the middleweight championship against Sebastian Sylvester and lost a very questionable split decision. Let's just say one judge had him winning the fight by 5 rounds, right? And he's taking on the enigmatic Hassan in. Now, before I say another word, just remember the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. There's no question that Lorenzo has fought the better competition because, in addition to fighting current champion Sebastian Sylvester, he, in his last fight, fought middleweight champion emeritus Felix Sturm. And Lorenzo lost the fight, but he went the distance. So this is a guy who has been in with multiple champions, has acquitted himself quite well. Now he's in against Hassan and who's coming off the worst fight of his career. Now I predicted that Njickum would beat the Tornado, Kutsia, in his last fight. But let me say this. It was a close fight. It was much closer than I thought it would be. Njickum, who is undefeated, has shown some flaws. There is a way to beat Hassan Njickum, in my opinion. The way to beat an ambush fighter, and I believe Njickum, like several in the sport, Jean Pascal, Sergio Martinez, I believe Njickum is an ambush fighter. The way to beat an ambush fighter is to follow him after the ambush. And as his 5'4" opponent did in his last match, he did exactly that. He followed Njickum after the ambush. He got under Njickum's guard. He pretty much did what Joe Frazier used to do to Muhammad Ali back in the day. He got inside, he roughed him up, high pressure, and of course, Njickum showed cracks. He won the fight. It was close. Let's say it would be fascinating to see how a Powell Wallach would do against Njickum, even though Wallach doesn't fight at middleweight. Personally, I believe that Njickum, who is unbeaten, would likely lose to middleweight champion Dmitry Pirog, who is a stalker, a completely different style of fighter. Now, all of that said, I like Njickum in this fight simply because Lorenzo doesn't have, in my opinion, the mobile type of center of gravity to actually be able to keep up with Njickum. In other words, Lorenzo isn't the kind of fighter who can fight coming forward to apply the kind of pursuit after the ambush that I believe an opponent would have to employ in order to beat Hassan Njickum. Put another way, for every step that Lorenzo takes forward, I believe he can only throw 1 or 2 punches, right? Njickum is fluid. Njickum has a very fluid center of gravity. Like Manny Pacquiao, he can literally just get to a spot and throw 3 or 4 punches per step. He has a nice little stutter jab that he's able to throw. He can throw very quick combinations. He's not as anchored to the canvas as Giovanni Lorenzo is. And let me point out, too, and my views are unorthodox, I don't believe that you can solve a center of gravity disadvantage in a training camp. In other words, Lorenzo has spent his entire life getting the center of gravity that he has. And in a training camp, just like I can't, no one could, in one training camp in 3 months, convert a right-hander to a left-hander, right? Because, it's not just the use of the offhand, but it's also the fact that the guy's entire brain is geared to quickly react as a right-handed person. Well, with regard to a center of gravity, you either can bounce in the ring and get to spots quickly and then back away from spots quickly. You either have the very quick lateral movement or you don't. And in boxing, as you can imagine, it's very stressful. It's very fast-paced. When you're in the ring with a quick-handed guy like Hassan and Jickham, that's not the time to try to do something that you've never done in any other fight in your life. Now let's just comment on styles for a second. Here in the United States, we talk about a European style of boxing where the guy, has his hands tucked. He, stands pretty upright. He is able to hide behind a jab. In other words, what I would consider a classic European type fighter would be Kotelnik from the Ukraine, right? He tucks himself, comes forward, has a jab. His hands protect his body, very tight shell. That's the kind of fighter that Sebastian Sylvester is. That's the kind of fighter that Felix Sturm is. Now, it's not a European style of fighting, because when I look at the UK, I see several guys with dangling left hands, guys who have pretty open fight styles. David Hay, Carl Froch. The UK has several guys who, quite frankly, don't fit into what we call a European style of fighting. But in Germany, they do, at the top level. And all I'm saying is you can look good against Sebastian Sylvester, who fights a European style, right? And you can look good against Felix Sturm, who fights a European style. But understand that that European style is really only focused on what's right in front of the fighter. So Lorenzo, in my opinion, looked much better against Sebastian Sylvester than he's going to look against Hassan and Jickham, who's going to be moving all over the ring. In other words, Njikham's not going to be standing in front of Lorenzo for 12 rounds like Sebastian Sylvester was, shooting a jab and hoping to counter. Rather, Njikham is going to be much farther away. He's going to be moving around. He's going to sporadically be coming inside with combinations, and it's going to force Lorenzo to come forward to find him. Now, some fighters fight well on the move. Some fighters don't. My point to you is, if you're going to hunt down an ambush fighter, you better move as well as Bernard Hopkins moved in the latter part of his fight against Jean Pascal. I don't believe Lorenzo moves that well. I think he gets battered in this fight. I think Njikham looks much better than he did in his last fight. My belief is that talent trumps experience. My belief is that styles make fights. I like Hassan and Njikham in this one. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com, and also check out our Facebook page, gamblersadvisory.com on Facebook. Thanks for watching.